Pinterest, my boy. Use Pinterest. Or just like getting frustrated. I didn't understand how Toriyama did that, but it never fits. It never fits in the on the page ever. I don't. So what's up, guys? It's AAA or Alex's Anime Art, and I'm back with another video. And today we're going to be going over a topic of whether is it just your style or is it bad art. And I kind of just came up with this topic like a lot. I'm not gonna say randomly, but I've been thinking about it for a bit, and I'm gonna speak on this topic since I've been drawing for probably I think maybe 3 4. I've actually lost count. I had to check my old sketchbooks, but let's get into the video. So I'm gonna start off with the Google. The Google definition of stylized is depicted or treated in a mannered and non-realistic style. So it's a little close to my definition, but the definition that I sort of came up with for it is that it's stylization is knowing the rules or fundamentals, but choosing to break them anyway. So there's only like because to me in the beginning stages, I don't necessarily think you don't necessarily have like a style. Like in the beginning, you have to gather you have to gather some knowledge of perspective and things like that. You have to practice that 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. I still need to practice some of those a bit more too, but I have practiced them to a point to where my art has gotten like significantly better. So I would say that I have at least like more of a style now than I did before. You also need to like know like anatomy, things like that, basics of the head, arms, torso, legs, feet. I don't know if I just said hands, but also just you might need to like just break them into other shapes, things like that. Break it down to the simplest forms possible, and then go from there, and then you can make more complex poses after and things like that. And I've done that to an extent. I also still need to do more of that. There's always more practicing to do. There's always more room to get better. So we're gonna go. We're gonna do that, and we're also gonna like also. I recommend you guys also take studies and use Pinterest, my boy. Use Pinterest, or my girls too. If there are any girls on this channel, you use Pinterest and study like like really complex poses, or just like any poses you want to get better at in general, and just like look at those, try and break it down. You still require some knowledge of anatomy and some perspective knowledge to even break some of the poses down, but if you're actually able to at least break down some of the more complex poses, that's how you've already known that you already know that you kind of like have grown as an artist, if you're able to even break down and understand the shapes, understand the perspective of it. Because some like even like sometimes 1 point perspective, that stuff can get that stuff can go a lot deeper than it seems to. It seems simple, but like it's not that simple, but it just gets more complex. 2 point, 3 point, it it's a lot. It takes a lot to get better, but you will eventually get there. But you really, yeah, you use Pinterest. I really recommend that. There's a lot of good ideas, like for character design, just like general practice, dynamic anatomy. Even people who want to go on there and buy things, they can do that if they want to. But I'm mainly gonna use it for just like trying to find like manga art and study dynamic poses and study anatomy in general and things like that. But you guys already know that I do use the manga that I have in my room to study, just to study like the way artists do things and the way they go about things, and seeing how seeing how like they made a certain like dynamic action pose or something like that. And also it still takes a lot of work to break down, honestly, because there was a time where I even just like there's a time where I studied. I tried to look at Akira Toriyama. It was the I think I still have the panel somewhere in my computer, but I think it was Goku, like right when he was about to launch that Kaioken times 3 Kamehameha up at like Vegeta. In that perspective, I saw that perspective. I don't even. It might have even been like 1 point or something like that, but the perspective didn't even look like that crazy or anything like that. But it was. I still didn't even like understand it or like didn't even know how to draw it. I attempted to draw it. I was just like getting frustrated. I didn't understand how Toriyama did that, but that just means that there's a bit more practicing in the other. There's still more. There's still more work to be done, and I'm probably gonna try that again later. But the thing about it is, you see that when you're evolving as an artist, there are things that you can do, and there are things that you still like can do. But I think the thing that a lot of times that we forget as artists, or the things that I forget as an artist, is that I sometimes forget the things that I am able to do now as an artist that I wasn't able to do before, and I get so focused on the things that I can't do, and like the crazy, just like maybe like Yusuke Murata, or like just like very intense and very dynamic shonen action panels and things like that. Like there are things that I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do that yet. Like, oh my gosh, how do I get there? I get so overwhelmed, and like I get overwhelmed, and I don't really take the time to consider the things that I'm actually able to do, because there are things that I'm able to do now. Like I might put up a drawing, maybe of you guys already saw the volume 1 cover, but there was a drawing I was able to do that required like a bit of, it wasn't like completely a top down perspective, but it was something that it was like that superhero character design created, like Quantum Light sitting down on like a bench or something like that, and I noticed that it still took a bit of some sort of perspective work to do that, and it still takes a bit of perspective work to do the studies that I still do. Like the study that I'm doing in this video is of Sister Ivory. I believe it was chapter 116, and that's a bit of like, you can see that's more of a bit of a top down perspective too, and obviously it never fully fits in the, it never fits. It never fits in the on the page ever. I don't know if I need bigger paper. If I just suck at drawing small, I don't know what it is. But I was able to look at and study the perspective from Hiro Mashima, and you'll notice that you'll be able to do more things over time. So I would just say try and focus, and well, also you still have to focus on things that you can't do in order to improve, but also don't forget about don't forget about how far you've came, instead of how far you have left to go. Never forget that as an artist, because you don't want to get down on yourself. You don't want to get self-critical. You don't want to get disappointed in things like that, because that can happen, especially if you're like me, and like you're very like self-critical, and you give yourself a hard time a lot of the time. That may be harder for you to do, but like you have to push past it. You have to get through that, and it's whatever with that. But also there's also like a bit of style evolution. So you can have an art style evolution, and sometimes you may think that your art before was like bad, but sometimes it may not. Sometimes it may not even have been bad art. It may just be like an evolution in your style. Like what I used for this video for the thumbnail, it was Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail. It was showing like some of the earlier artwork versus some of the later artwork, and they might not. Maybe these artists might look back and say like, "Man, I can't believe I used to draw like that. Like that was that's how I drew." But a lot of times people don't even really think that it was bad art. A lot of times people just see like a growth and an evolution in your style. You just like, it's more so just like expanding on something, that's like already good, instead of like really like starting from zero. But who knows? Maybe they believe that they did start from a low point, or did start from zero. I don't know if these artists already believe like they had like maybe like a sort of talent or something like that. And that's also kind of like a bit of a sidebar, but I don't know what you guys think. I may just ask you guys to leave it in the comments below. Like, what do you I don't even know the question to ask. Like, y'all, you guys think talent is more important or hard work? Sorry guys, I got a little bit of a call in the middle of that, but where I left off was like the question was, do you think talent is more important than hard work, or is work more important, or do you guys think they're both equally important? I don't know. That's a bit of a sidebar for the video, but I want you guys to leave that in the comments and let me know what you think about that, because like it's definitely good to have both of them, but you don't really need the talent thing. Just like, yeah, just grind. But I'll get off of that little sidebar. But also, one thing I want you guys to remember is that, like, so your art style is always just gonna be like, it's always gonna be changing, it's always gonna be evolving, and sometimes you may think before that it's bad art, and a lot of the outside, like a lot of times the views from like outsiders of your work, or the outsiders of, like, I guess, like the art process, they'll see maybe some of your older artwork, and they might even not think it's that bad, but you think it's bad because you're like, ugh, like I said, like some manga artists may think like, I can't believe I used to draw like that. Yeah, that don't look right. I like my style now, but maybe 5 years later down the road, you're gonna be saying that again. You're gonna be saying that again because your art style is always changing. So it's kind of an interesting topic, an interesting question to whether you think it's just your style, or if it's just like bad art and you have no fundamentals. You don't know the rules of anything, and you're just like drawing, like, and you really have no idea what you're doing. And at that point, I really think it's kind of just like bad art, and it's not really your style. But let me guys, why do I keep saying let me guys know? Let me know what you guys think, whether it's just your style or like whether it's bad art. Let me know like what the line is between those two things. And yeah, guys, I think that's it for the video. So it's AAA or Alex's Anime Art, and I'm out.